Okay, guys. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm either your best friend today or I'm super, super lame. Today's class is pretty low key, so not that super intense kind of workout that we usually do. I'm tired. I'm sore. I don't know about anybody else, but Tuesday kind of kicked me in the butt. Literally, I can feel it. With that, today still won't be like a static stretch kind of day. Static just meaning like we're staying and holding in a stretch. Still kind of flow based, so not too many pulses. I know everybody loves the baby pulses, but those will not be showing up as much. And surprise, we do not have bird dogs today, unless I feel like adding it somewhere as a surprise, but we'll see. With that, still trying to keep that flow base, but that also means we're trying to keep more in tune with the muscles that we are engaging in the moment, making sure we're using our core to stay stable. Anytime we're transferring a move, you should be tightening your core and using that to pull you through the next movement. Your core tightens, and then you're using your breath to move. That is something I didn't say, and I should have said very early on, but yeah, every movement you should be feeling core activation. If you're not, try to go a little bit slower until you do feel it a little bit more, and then we should be good to go from there. But still making sure we're taking our own modifications. If you're uncomfortable with the flows that we're doing at any point, feel free to put yourself into a static stretch or just push back into that child's pose. It's pretty stable for all of us. I think we all can do the child's pose. If not, do any pose that you are comfortable with. Also, feel free to ask me in the middle of an exercise. I promise I am more than willing to give you any and all pointers that I can. But we're going to go ahead and push back into that child's pose. If we're looking for a deeper hip stretch, we're going to open up our knees a little bit wider on the mat. If you have a watch and you have not started it yet, start it now. I remembered this time because I wrote it on the board for Luke. If you're looking for a bit more of a flow, just feel free to rock your hips side to side, waking them up just a little bit more. From here, we're taking this time to bring awareness to all four corners of our body. Try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Feel your forearms pressed into the mat. Gently breathing deeper into this stretch. You might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. Letting go of any stress or tension built up throughout the day. Setting your intentions for the rest of today. Allowing yourself to take a full body scan here. Paying attention what's sore, what's not sore. Taking one more deep breath in. We're going to walk our hands to the left. Trying to lengthen out your right side body. On every inhale, we're looking for length, trying to move our fingertips a little bit further. And every exhale, we're breathing deeper into that stretch. One more deep breath in. On that exhale, we're walking all the way back to that right side now. Finding a nice stretch through our left side body. Should be feeling this all the way from your left bicep down to your left hip. Just a gentle pull. On the edge of discomfort, but we're not looking for any pain. Trying to walk those fingertips a little bit further on that inhale, allowing yourself to stretch deeper on that exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale, walking ourselves back to center. We're going to push all the way up, finding that child's or that tabletop position, wanting to keep our shoulders stacked over our wrists and our hips stacked over our knees. We're going to go straight into that child's pose to extended cat-cow. Pushing ourselves back, deep breath in, feeling a nice stretch in that upper thoracic region. And exhale, pushing ourselves all the way forward, hip bones placed directly on the mat, looking over each shoulder and pushing back. Coming all the way back up, trying to sink a little bit further, finding a deeper stretch for that lower back. And pushing back into that child's pose. Deep breath in, coming all the way to that extended child's pose. From here, we're going to stay in that sort of up dog position, but we're going to lower all the way down to our fingertips, finding a baby cobra, trying to get more intentionality into our upper back. We're pushing through our fingertips, coming all the way up, almost into a push-up sort of position, and lowering back down. Pushing up through our fingertips, squeezing our upper back, scapula pinching together, and lowering back down. Squeezing your back, pushing through your fingertips, and lower. Go ahead and do this one more time, really squeezing our upper back and lowering all the way down. We're going to do a little more intense version of this, pushing our fingertips all the way up. Feel free to lift your toes too if you're looking for a higher intensity level. We're just going to squeeze our elbows together, coming into a swimmer kind of pose, reaching forward through our fingertips and squeezing our elbows together. Reaching forward and squeezing your elbows. If you want to add a little bit more movement and engagement through your glutes, feel free to kick those legs as well. For 2 more. Really squeezing our back here. Squeezing your core as you lift. And last one. Lowering our hands all the way back down. We're just going to reach back with that left hand, grabbing the top of our left foot or reaching for that left foot. Still remembering to breathe. Trying to pull that heel a little bit closer to your glute. Finding a stretch through that left quad and that left hip. One more deep breath in. On that next exhale, you're going to let go of your left foot, bringing your hand back down under your chest, but you're going to kick over, slowly coming up and onto that right hip, bringing your toes behind you. Taking one more deep breath in. Exhale, rolling back to center. Doing the same thing for the right side. Now we're just going to lift that right foot up. Reach our right hand back. Doing as best you can to grab onto your right foot. Gently pulling it closer to that glute. Feeling a nice stretch to that right quad and your hip. Taking another deep breath in. Exhale, letting go of that foot, bringing your hand under chest and kicking that right foot behind you. One more deep breath in. Exhale, rolling all the way back to center. Go ahead and push yourself back into that wide-kneed child's pose. From here, we're just going to lift our right arm up. This is going to be a flow movement. We're just going to wrap around, thread the needle. Reaching back up. Length through those fingertips, trying to pull yourself back a little bit further. Then wrapping all the way around. Doing this 3 more times. Length through every inhale. Deepening your stretch through every exhale. Remember, we're squeezing our core. For 1 more, we're going to lift up. This time we're going to thread all the way through, resting on our shoulder. If you'd like to increase the intensity here, try picking up your left hand and wrapping it around your back pocket. If you can't, that's okay. We'll work towards it. Still keeping that breath. Exhale, bringing our hand back in front of us, pushing ourselves up, still staying in that wide-legged child's pose. We're lifting up our left hand now, reaching, finding length through those fingertips and wrapping through. Reaching up and wrapping through. Trying to increase that range of motion every time you lift. For 2 more. And last one. Reaching all the way up. This time wrapping all the way through. Bringing that right arm up and back into that pocket if you can. Feeling this in our hips and in our shoulders. Deep breath in. Exhale, unraveling that hand, bringing it in front of us. Pushing ourselves up, finding that tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, slight bend in that elbow, pushing through the heels of our palms. Knees under our hips, curling our toes underneath of us, pushing through those palms, finding our downward facing dog. Pedaling out our feet, waking up the backs of our legs. Slowly trying to push our ribs deeper into the tops of our thighs. Remembering to breathe. We're going to do a similar flow to like what we did in the beginning of class today, but this time from a downward facing dog. A little more engagement through our upper arms and our back. But when you're ready on that next exhale, we're going to find ourselves coming all the way to high plank, slowly pushing down and up, upward facing dog. Looking over each shoulder, deep breath in, and exhale, pushing all the way back, finding upward facing dog. Deep breath in here. Exhale, high plank, slowly lowering down, finding upward facing dog. Exhale, coming all the way back up. Feel free to take that modification, go all the way down. When you come to high plank, slowly lowering, feel free to go all the way to your stomach and look up, if that feels comfortable to you. And exhale, pushing yourself all the way back up, upward facing dog. Warming up our shoulders. Deep breath in, lifting up that left leg, three-legged dog, pointing your toes all the way to the ceiling. Stay here if you'd like to stretch your hamstrings. If you'd like to add a little bit more intensity, bending that left knee, twisting your hips to the wall to your left, still keeping our shoulders parallel to the ground beneath of us. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lowering that leg back down, walking our feet to our hands, finding a forward fold. Feel free to bend those knees out if that feels comfortable. This next little flow, we're going to need both of our blocks in front of us for support. You don't necessarily need them, but I find it's easier. Still keeping that deep breath, making sure our feet are squared together. Pressing into both our blocks, either horizontal if you'd like to add intensity, or keeping them vertical if you want a little bit more support and height. Lifting up that left leg until it's even. And lowering it back down, keeping our glutes engaged, squeezing through our core. Inhaling on your lift, exhaling as you lower. For 2 more. Still keeping those glutes engaged. Last one, keeping that leg lifted. We're going to bend our knee and our elbows and then push back up. Finding engagement through our right glute now. Slow and in control. Remembering to breathe, trying to keep your shoulders directly over the heels of your palms. For 2 more. Last one, lifting all the way up, stepping back with that left foot. Feel free to come down all the way to a low lunge, bringing your blocks back with you. We're just going to reach all the way up to the ceiling, finding a stretch through our hips, slowly letting yourself sink further and further into the mat. One more deep breath in. Exhale, coming all the way back to center. We're going to need our block in front of us. If you've been here in the past, you might remember this stretch. Just that hip mobility stretch one more time. Feel free to bring your knee directly under your hip if you got out of alignment like I did, but we're just going to lift our foot up and onto that block and lower. Keeping it slow and in control. Hips are weak. If you didn't know, I didn't practice this one before we came here. If you can't tell, just going to keep breathing through this stretch here. Couple more, getting our hips warmed up. Last one, we're going to leave our foot on the block this time. I know, I promised it was a stretch day, but I lied. So we're going to come all the way back up into a lunge here if you can. If you can't do it with the block, feel free to do it without. And we're just going to lower all the way back down. Lifting up and lower. Still breathing through these stretches here. For 2 more, I promise we're almost done. And last one, we're still going to push all the way back up. This time, we're still going to flatten that back leg out. Coming into our warrior 2, but elevated. Feel free to do this without the block as well. Deep breath in, looking for length through those fingertips. And exhale, coming back, reaching our right hand over our head, finding that reverse warrior. One more deep breath in. Exhale, wrapping our left arm overhead now, bringing our right forearm to the top of our thigh. Side ankle stretch. Deep breaths in. Exhale, coming all the way back up to center, lowering down to that knee, lifting our foot off that block. Just going to step our foot to the outside of our mat and push that knee out. Giving our hips a nice stretch. Slowly trying to sink further down. One more deep breath in. And on that next exhale, we're coming all the way back up, stepping that knee forward. This one's going to be a bit of a combo flow of everything we've done before. We're going to reach forward, reach back. This time as we reach forward, we're going to straighten that leg. Feel free to lift those toes up too if you're looking for a calf stretch. Then rebend, reaching forward, reaching back, forward, and straighten. Stretching through your hips, keeping your balance, staying strong through your core. With every lift, every twist. For one more, we're going to straighten out our leg here. Rebend. This time we're just going to stay in the stretch. Option to lift that back leg up and reach. Just remembering to breathe. Exhale, dropping that foot, coming back forward, lowering all the way down, curling your left toes underneath, pushing yourself up, stepping that right foot back, finding our downward facing dog one more time. One more deep breath in. On that next exhale, you're lifting your right foot up, pointing your toes to the ceiling. Option to stay here for that hamstring stretch, or bending that right knee, tilting your hips to the wall, keeping our shoulders parallel to the floor beneath of us. Deep breath in. Exhale, lowering that foot back down and walking our hands to our feet. Feel free to bend those knees and that forward fold. We're going to need our blocks again here. If you didn't know, we're just going to repeat the same thing for the other side that we just did. Option to have them vertical for extra support or leaving them horizontal if you want to increase the intensity. But when you're ready, we're just going to lift that right foot back now, trying to come completely straight to your glute and lower that foot back down. Squeezing through that core, squeezing your glute, feeling a slight shake through your leg. Using your breath as you push up. Still squeezing all of your muscles, pushing through your hands. For 2 more. And last one. Leaving that leg all the way lifted, we're just going to bend our knee, bend our elbows, and push back up. Bend that knee, bend those elbows. Exhale, pushing ourselves back up. Remember to keep that right glute engaged. We're still keeping it straight all the way up in the air. For 2 more. Last one. Lowering all the way down. This time as we lift, we're stepping that right foot back, coming all the way down to that low lunge, bringing our blocks with us, and opening that left hand to the ceiling. Slowly breathing into this stretch, letting your hips drop further to the mat. Exhale, coming all the way back up, straight leg, bringing that block down right next to us. Everybody's favorite hip mobility stretch today. Coming all the way back up into center, lifting through your core, focusing on that stabilization. We're just going to lift that foot up and bring it back down. Squeezing through our glutes, using our hip flexors, making sure they're still awake and active. For 2 more. Last one, leaving that foot all the way on that block, entering our little lunge series. When you're ready, we're just going to push our back foot up, coming right into that lunge, lifting our arms up and lower. Feel free to do this without the block here as well. Still remembering to breathe. For 2 more. And last one. Lifting all the way up, staying here, maneuvering all the way into that warrior 2. Finding length through our fingertips. When you're ready, lifting our left hand all the way overhead, reverse warrior. Deep breath in, coming all the way back up to center, reaching our right arm overhead, left forearm into the top of our thigh. Slowly looking for length through those fingertips. Stretching out that right side body. One more deep breath in. On the exhale, we're coming all the way back up, turning back, coming straight into that lunge, lifting our foot off that block. I know you wanted to. We're just going to push that knee out. giving a slight break to our hips. Still breathing into these stretches. One more deep breath in. Exhale, coming all the way back up, stepping that foot to center. Do a little reach, bringing our hands all the way forward, reaching back, forward, lower, and straighten that leg out. Rebend, lift, squeezing that core, reach back, forward, squeezing that core and lower. Feel free to lift up those toes if you're looking for a calf stretch. For one more. Last one, taking that bend, lifting our arms up, reaching back one more time. This time as we reach forward and lower, we're going to scoot that foot all the way back. Feel free to cross your legs behind you, lowering yourselves all the way down to your glutes. Do that hip mobility stretch, bring our knees to 90, keeping your feet right in front of you, palms placed behind you. Go ahead and point both knees to your right and tilt your hips downward. Leaning forward, giving your hips a nice stretch, little bit of love. Coming back to center. Bring them to the right side now. Slow, letting yourself feel the stretch. Trying to increase your mobility a little bit more every time. Do this one more time on each side. And last one, bring our knees all the way over. Coming back to center, let our feet stay in center. Go ahead and grab a block. We got time, don't worry. We're gonna lower all the way to our backs. Bring our feet up, grabbing that block, placing the backs of our forearms into the block, pressing them into each leg. We're gonna alternate, so we're still pushing that block into the tops of our thighs, but we're gonna let our left arm and our right leg fall down. But we're still squeezing our core, pushing that block into the top of our thigh. This is difficult for you. Feel free to only move one leg or one arm. Or do this with the same side, leg and arm. Remembering to breathe. Trying to keep that spine flat on the mat. I just rhymed. Anyways. For two more. Last one. Bringing our arms and our feet together. Go ahead and grab that block, lowering your feet all the way down to the ground. Bring that block, putting it between both of your knees, squeezing it with both of your thighs. When you're ready, we're going to tilt our hips upward, pushing through the heels of our feet, lifting our glutes, squeezing them, bringing them all the way up into a glute bridge. But this glute bridge is fun, guys, don't worry. We're gonna kick our left foot out, still squeezing the block between our legs and lowering it back down. Kicking the right foot now, straightening it out, lowering it back down. We're still staying hip lifted through our hips, squeezing our core. If your legs are shaking, so are mine. For 2 more. And last one. Lowering our hips all the way down, getting rid of that block. Know you wanted to. We're gonna sit all the way up. Feel free to meet me in boat pose or let your legs fall forward, tapping your toes on the ground in that modified boat pose. We're gonna hold here for 30 seconds. It's just for everybody whose core didn't burn on Tuesday. Wanted you to feel the love. A little too much love, I think. Remembering to breathe here. Your core should be engaged the whole time, but you want your chest lifted. Taking deep breaths. 5 more seconds. Letting your feet fall all the way down to the ground. Bring the soles of your feet together. And take a nice little stretch for our hips. Let our core relax. Remembering to breathe. 1 more deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to come all the way back up into center, but we're going to reach our hands behind us, interlacing those fingers if you can. If not, just reach. If you'd like to increase the intensity here, feel it a bit more through your hips, go ahead and lean forward. Still breathing here. On that next exhale, we're coming all the way back up. Unhooking our hands, and our feet out in front of us, lowering all the way down to our backs. I feel like it's not even a surprise anymore. You guys know. Go ahead and kick that right foot up, right over the top of our left thigh, grabbing onto the back of your left hamstring or shin, gently pulling that leg closer to you. Option to rock side to side if that feels comfortable. One more deep breath in. When you're ready, bring those arms to either side of your body, gently letting your hips fall to the left. One more deep breath in. Coming back to center, lifting your right leg, lowering it, hooking your left over top of your right, grabbing on to that leg. Still taking that option to rock side to side if that feels good to you. Deep breath in. Exhale, letting those arms fall to either side of your body, gently letting your hips drop to the right. Still trying to keep both shoulders planted on the ground. Trying to deepen that twist for your spine a little bit more. One last exhale. Coming all the way back up to center. Unhooking your foot, bringing the soles of your feet together, gently letting your knees fall to either side of your body. One hand over your heart, one hand over your stomach. We're going to meet here for our last few breaths of class today. Taking this time to set our intentions for the rest of today, letting go of any tension that's built up throughout the day. You might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. Trying to bring awareness to all 4 corners of our body, wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes. Feel the back of your head pressed into the mat. As you breathe, slowly allowing yourself to sink further and further into the floor. Congratulating yourself for showing up today, showing up for yourself, getting a workout in, because I absolutely lied to you all. Today was not a stretch day. I thought it was, but I was wrong. Still taking those deep breaths in. That's going to bring us to the end of class today. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm sorry it was not as much of a stretch as I thought it was going to be, but hope you all enjoyed it and hope to see you all again next Tuesday.